Ran into this story. Tuesday was World Toilet Day. You thought the WTO stood for World Trade Organization, James? Think again, bigot. The World Toilet Organization established World Toilet Day in 2001 to combat the uniquely brown problem of open-air defecation. In a world where 4.2 billion people have never heard of a toilet, World Toilet Day became an official UN day in 2013. I saw some pictures as I was looking this stuff up. They had like a giant inflatable toilet there in New York at the UN World Headquarters, which is pretty fucking funny. But back in 2012, you know, they have themes every year for World Toilet Day. And back in 2012, when they were on the precipice of going big with the UN, the theme was, I gave a shit, do you? and so today, all of the vertical cell phone filming, utility pole electrocution loving troglodytes from around the world are still giving a shit, an unbelievable amount of shit. In fact, India leads the world in open air defecation with an estimated of, you ready for this, James? 600 million of the 1 billion people in the country are reliant on the practice of shitting in the streets. I had no idea that it was this much of a problem, but yeah, 600 million. So 1 gram of Pajit fecal matter contains 10 million viruses, 1 million bacteria, and 1,000 parasitic cysts. Since people often relieve themselves near water sources, they love doing that, don't they? And feces attract vectors such as flies. Disease spreads fast. According to one study, open defecation kills 1.5 million children under 5 every year, and not a single tear was shed. So one of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, otherwise known as an SDG for you, those of you out in Rio Rhinelander, adopted by the world's leaders in 2015 reads, by 2030, achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation. You know how they I noticed this, they like throw in equitable into everything. Like equitable, like what? Like there's going to be like nicer toilets for white people and like not nice like you're going to get a plastic toilet if you're not white. Like why even say equitable at all? Just say achieve access to adequate. And we know why, because there's this perception that, you know, evil white racist world is the reason why these people don't have toilets, right?
Right.
Doesn't have anything to do with culture at all. Paying special attention to the needs of women and girls in those vulnerable situations, because of course, as many of you probably know, that like when shitting in the street, it's like when, you know, these girls, it's like their most ripe opportune time to be raped by their fellow countrymen. So yeah, there's that. Just in the middle of taking a shit, like this is a great time to go fuck a woman. Yeah, great. An interim target brings forward to 2025 the date for ending open-air defecation. Well, in theory, this should have been one of the more attainable SDGs. The World Bank has sought to cost the water and sanitation. It estimated it would take $114 billion a year, blah, 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 blah. The total amount to like solve this open-air defecation problem, like just give everybody a toilet, is just 0.39% of the GDPs of the 140 countries the World Bank studied where this is a problem. Like less than 0.5% of your GDP, and you solve so many fucking problems. But no, can't even do that. And, you know, people want to say it's corruption. It's not corruption. These people just like shitting outside, and I'll get to that in a second. So, of course, the Copenhagen Consensus Center, this is just white people things, by the way. This is a cost-benefit analysis that was done by the Copenhagen Consensus Center. Calculated that every dollar spent on ending open-air defecation, like every dollar that you spend on indoor plumbing and shitting inside, produces $6 worth of benefits. Imagine that. Like, you don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to die. You don't have to slip and slide in diarrhea on the way to the post office. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. Pajeets. For investing in basic sanitation at home, the benefit is 3 times the cost. So here's the fun part, guys. Ready for this? This is just fucking so much Indian bullshit wrapped up into one little story. This World Toilet Day, however, there seems to be much to celebrate, or so it would seem. India has declared itself open defecation free, ODF, meaning that as of October 2nd, The 150th anniversary of the birth of Mahatma Gandhi, hero of India's freedom struggle and its battle for better sanitation. The event was marked with a speech from India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who, upon taking office in 2014, launched a campaign known as Swachh Bharat, which means Clean India, which was aimed at ending open-air defecation. So the success, though, was preordained. A calendar for 2019, printed long in advance by the government's campaign, marks the month of October with a cartoon of a rocket roaring up into the heavens against a background of graph paper and crossing a 100% line that is supposed to signify the achievement of a total end to open-air defecation. Literally, nobody is shitting outside anymore, per this drawing. So, of course, this is nonsense, and it captured the attention of basically everybody on the fucking planet that was like, yeah, nah, bro. Nobody seriously believes open defecation has ended altogether in India. Indeed, around the time of the celebrations, grim news broke out of 2 separate murders involving 3 children, including an 18-month-old toddler, blah, 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 blah. The killings had caste overtones, but were ostensibly for the crime of shitting outside in the streets.
Jeez.
And now the government has tempered its claims about the ODF. Looks like Pajit got caught lying about some claim that Pajit made. Isn't that interesting? It now says that October, get ready, guys, marked a milestone and that the 100% boast relates to self-declarations made by India's 599,000 villages, 699 districts, 35 states, and union territories. So they're going to shift all the blame to these villages who said, yeah, we hit 100%, guys, totally stop shitting in the streets, right? But this is the story that the government's running with, that it totally, it's just a milestone, bro, like 100% milestone, right? So this is hilarious, though. So this is fucking great, though. And this just proves our point. Like, this just proves every point. I love when the confirmation bias hits. It feels so fucking good. For years, NGOs and the government have labored to build toilets in the Indian countryside, only to find them unused. The idea of having a toilet in the home seemed repugnant. It's totally gross. In Maximum City, a book published in 2005 by Suketu Mehta on life in the fast-growing megacity of Mumbai, a struggling would-be entrepreneur confides his pleasure in returning to his own village because he likes to feel the grass tickling his ass as he defecates. These people they literally live in a world of shit. They do. I mean, Gomer Pyle wasn't wrong. It's a world of shit, and these people live in it, and they fucking love it because the NGOs have spent. I mean, imagine being an NGO and spending billions of dollars on building toilets, and then watching these people go out and continue to like shit in a river that is like flowing down. I mean, you have to, after a while, you have to be sort of like getting woke on the race question and just be like ready to throw in the towel and just be like, all right, this is like this whole thing about like everybody's the same. Like we're just not doing that anymore. And then like, I'm not entirely sure that this would-be entrepreneur, the grass tickling his ass. It's like, are we sure that's just not like the village elders? Like, that's just not the thing that like he's really interested in? Because that's the other thing too. It's the sickness, and then basically just like this is opportunity to like just rape and fuck, and it's like, okay. And so here's the cope, though. There's copes on this too, and so not like regular toilets. They didn't work. Like, people didn't want to use the regular toilets, so they want to come up with these Rube Goldberg machines to like get these people to shit inside. So the toilet challenge, which was made by Bill and Melinda Gates in 2011, was set out to reward innovation to come up with these Rube Goldberg machines for toilets, and they included a self-contained sun-powered system that recycles water and breaks down human waste into storable energy, a waterless toilet that uses nanomembranes and combustion to turn waste into ashes, powered by raising and closing the lid. And in India, they have tiger toilets with like tiger worms or something that digest the feces. It's like, how about we just throw it in a towel on like whatever this species is that's like occupying this Indian subcontinent, and like just be done. Like if white people, if like some of the smartest white people in the world have to occupy their time to innovate, to come up with a creative way for you to figure out how to take a shit, like this isn't working out very well. And this is the thing. It's like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is like innovating to come up with this sort of stuff, and it's just silly. But yeah, I mean, we sort of figured out that like shit doesn't really shit and all this kind of stuff like rotting pig carcasses out in the streets is like probably not a good idea. But I mean, even before that, long before 600-700 years ago, I mean, there's reason that Romans had plumbing and aqueducts and everything else. It wasn't just about bringing water to people. It was about taking the waste away. And so, this is, these people. And this is the funny thing. It's like we had to figure out as Europeans and as, our Roman ancestors before that, how to figure this stuff out on our own. There wasn't a cheat sheet. Like here, it's like you can go on the internet and download a PDF of how to indoor plumbing in any language. And these people just still refuse to get up to the current standard. It's like at what point? And then we're supposed to believe that these people are going to adopt, sort of millennia of political philosophy and like comprehend our civilization. Like, get the fuck out of here. Just get the fuck out.